Good morning. Sunday morning, and we're gonna do a little Tai Chi, a little Qigong here at home. And Bella and Miko are gonna help out, I think, hopefully, and we'll see what happens. So we're gonna start off with the eight brocade, the Badon Jin, and we've done this in class a number of times. We'll go over the order that we usually do it in class. You can refer to the handout as well, and usually you would want to do this 9 times each. We're just going to do 3 for the sake of brevity and give you a flavor of what to work on. So we only just want to start in Wuji parallel stance, settle for a second, and we'll start off with double hands hold the heavens. Interlace the fingers, press down. Follow the hands up with your eyes and then level the eyes out as the hands rise up above. Go up on the toes for a second, back down. And then out of the waist, you're going to stretch out to one corner, back to center, other corner, back to center, straight up, heels stay on the ground this time. And release. Again, press down, press up on the toes. You're going to stimulate the kidney one point, out of the waist to the other one corner, to the other corner. Now in the last one, as you go up, drop the tailbone down, get a little bit of an extension in the spine, relax down, press up, and release. One last time. Don't forget to breathe. Okay, the second one we do is 5 weaknesses and 7 illnesses. So hands are going to be at the sides, facing down. 3 hand positions. One is going to be here, listening to the earth. The other is going to be palms on the kidneys. The last one is going to be up in front of your chest. Want to be good Wuji position. Hands are listening to the earth. Relax, sink the tailbone. Crown is raised up a little bit. And you're going to exhale and look over one shoulder. Inhale back to center. Hands on the kidneys. Now when you're looking over your shoulders, don't just simply turn your head until you feel a stretch, right? You want to look with your eyes, use your intention to look behind you as if you're really trying to look at something behind you. That's going to take your attention off, is this hurting, is this stretching, and release that and allow for a little bit more freedom of movement. And release. So next we're going to do both hands grab the feet to lift the back and strengthen the kidneys. So when you go down for this one, make sure you want to bend your knees, bend at the waist, try to keep your back pretty flat. And then when you get all the way down there, let your head just hang. Okay, nice passive stretch on the neck. You're going to lift up the small of your back, and you're going to breathe into that area 3 times. When we come up, we're going to drop the tailbone and press ourselves up as if we're supporting ourselves on a small table, and come on up to center. Inhale up, exhale down, lift up on the toes, lift the back. Drop the tailbone, press yourself up. Again. So when you're folded over like that, you're constricting your belly area, so the breath is going to naturally want to go into the back. You really want to expand the small of the back. And you can adjust your fold with your knees, how low you go, and your hips and all that, to try to get a better expansion in the lower spine. We're really trying to target not only loosening up the lower back, bringing some good chi there, but also to the kidneys as well. When you're coming up, it's okay to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Head's going to come up last. And just take a second to settle in between sets or in between the next posture. So number 4 that we're going to do is screw the fist with fiery eyes. This is one of those chi emitting exercises that you want to get rid of negative chi. And we talked about in another video, maybe it was a karate video, about when you turn the arm and you induce tension into that arm and the fist, the chi, instead of flowing down the extremity, is going perpendicularly into the arm and nourishing the bone marrow. You're also releasing negative chi with your eyes, so they're going to get fiery as you get to the extension of the punch. And then you want to release the eyes, release all the tension in your body, and come back to neutral. We'll just do 3 each side. So we're going to do corkscrew fist and release. Release. If you're doing this outside, you can look far into the horizon, right? So next we're going to do sway the head and swing the tail. This is great for releasing the heart fire in the triple burner area. So if you have heartburn, congestion as well, just try this exercise. You're also going to be strengthening and opening up the back and the hips a little bit. When you have a nice wide stance, you want your thumbs to be on the outside on top of your knees, and you're going to sink down. And this is your starting position. You're going to scoop down and go up to one side, and you're going to press down with that weighted leg as the other one straightens, and you're going to look up and behind you and release. Come back to neutral for a second, and then swing down again and look up. I'm going to hold this for a few seconds and then release. Next one we're going to do is separate heaven and earth. So we're going to have the palm facing the heavens on the rising hand, and the back of the palm is going to make a connection with the bi-way point on top of the head. The other hand is going to be the yin hand and listen to the earth. Okay? Both hands are important, so don't just get concerned with the top hand and forget about the lower hand. All right, so we're going to kind of come up here, turn the hand over and press up and press down. But we don't want to be leaning this way. Okay? Try to keep your shoulder relaxed and reach up, relax up, instead of jamming the shoulder up. We're coming up out to the sides here, but we can also coil up the center line as well. Now we're going to add a twist towards the lower hand. So we're going to turn and come back to center. I like to add a breath with this, so I'm exhaling here, I'm inhaling on the twist, and then exhaling to get a little bit more extension. Inhale, exhale here, inhale, We'll do one more. And release. The next one is we're going to bend the bow to let the arrow fly. This is one of those, like screw the fist with fire eyes, that you're releasing negative chi. So again, it's great if you're outdoors. You can let the arrow fly visually out into the horizon. Just don't point it at anybody unless you don't like them. It's because you're really going to want to release anything negative that you have. You can also attach an emotion to it. Maybe you want to release fear, maybe you want to release anger, maybe you want to release whatever that's not serving you. Okay? Just see it fly out the bow. Okay, so nice wide stance. We're going to set the sights here, reach around, grab the bow, draw back, weight the back leg, inhale, and release. Other side. And the release, whole body's going to release, not just the arms. Do one more each side. So I think that's 7. The last one is going to be 7 disorders and hundreds of illnesses will disappear. So this one I recommend doing at the end, no matter what of the other orders you put the first 7 in. It's kind of like settling the chi, releasing anything that's stuck. And the hand positions are going to be the same as when we turn the head both sides. Listening to the earth, kidneys up in front. We're going to go up on our toes and drop the heels down 3 times each. Okay, when we do that, we want the heels to come down in a slightly jarring motion, but not so much to hurt yourself, right? We want it to be gentle, but we don't want to just settle down. We want that hit into the ground, as my teacher would say, like you're shaking a salt shaker to get the stuck salt off the sides, okay? So think of that way, with the chi in your body, just kind of loosening it all up. And then just take a moment, settle, and you're done. So even if you did it 3 times like we just did, you can bang that out in 5 or 10 minutes. Again, 9 times is recommended, but I'm a big fan of doing something more often, consistently, even though it's not the full set, is better than waiting a week and then doing a full set and calling it a day, right? So if you can do the full set, great. It's also important to do it consistently if you can. So we'll do a little bit of form work, and I believe we left off at the heel kick in the form. So let's see, we'll face this way. We just came around here. We're going to come up with the heel, do a kick, separate, and put the foot down where it's going to end up in a front bow stance. Okay. So as I come down, I'm going to do my first brush knee and push. And I'm going to rock back. Earlier in the form, we just did this on the right side, or the left side, depending on how you look at it. I'm going to do one more on this other side. Same rock back, but this time we're going to punch down low. Okay, so a couple pointers on that. We talked about the rock back not being rocking back, but sinking down, adding the weight enough to turn the front leg, which is going to become the back foot in the stance. Okay, so as I'm coming down, remember, drop the elbow, and if you want to extend from the shoulder blade, but this should not be way out here. Don't forget about the lower hand. That's important. You just blocked a kick or a punch. But even if you weren't doing an application, energetically, this is going to reinforce this. Okay, so whenever you have the business hand doing something very obvious, which everyone's looking at, don't forget about the supporting arm. Okay, and brush knee is a great example of that. So this is right in position. It's going to circle around for the lower part of brush knee. Now on the punch, this is going to descend, and you're going to punch downward. Okay? You're not going to bend over. You're going to keep your back straight. You can lower your hips a little bit, but this is going to go down. Okay? This hand can be energetically reinforcing the punch, and that's great. You can think of this as a punch to somebody's kidneys or organs right below the floating ribs. You can think of, you just took somebody down, following their head down, and punching them in the face. Okay, so that's distinguished from the straight punches, which are going solar plexus area and the beginning and the end of the form. Okay, so after the punch down, we're going to rock back again. We're going to start forming the ball, and we're going to step up and through over the dog and do ward off to begin sparrow's tail. So we're here just like the beginning of the form. And also like the beginning of the form, we're going to continue into signal whip. Now early in the form we would go into lift hands. But from here we're going to transition into Fair Lady Works the Shuttles. So from here you have your pecking hand in front. Your other hand here, you're going to sit back, and left leg, left arm, left side of the body is going to turn. And then it's going to come almost underneath the pecking hand. At which point this hand is going to release, this leg is going to release, and the back leg, the left leg, is going to become weighted. Okay? So we're here, sit back into the right, turn, sit into the left, release. Okay? See how this is opening up? Whole body's opening up, leg, toes, everything. And I want to go in that direction, which is going to be my front right diagonal. Okay? So again, we're here. Release. You're going to reset this foot. This is going to become the back foot. So set it on the oblique where you're going to need it relative to the 45, and your front foot's going to be on that 45 when we get there. Turn, back heel peels off the ground, step up, unfold, left hand rises, right hand comes underneath. Okay, so if I'm straight here, this is coming in at a slight angle. Okay, again, I'm the oblique coming in. The rising hand is rotating up and out. We want to try to leave the shoulder down. The elbow's going to come up a little bit, but not more than it needs to. A general rule of thumb in the martial arts is if the shoulder comes up, the elbow's got to stay down. If the elbow comes up, the shoulder's got to stay down. Ideally, we want them both down, but if one's going to rise, keep the other one down and relaxed. Okay, so the other hand, you can think of this very simply as I'm intercepting and I'm doing a palm heel to somebody's chest. Okay. There are other applications to this which we'll get to in class, but for a visual purpose right now, think of it that way. Okay. This interception, block, if you will, and strike happen pretty simultaneously, right? So this is not a 1-2 combination that you might see in karate styles. So you're not doing 1, 2. This is all unfolding together. So by the time the person's attacking arm has been intercepted, they're getting hit. Okay. So from single whip, here, sit, turn, release, reset. I have the ball already, and it's going to start to rotate as I step up. Come in underneath. This is corner number 1. Fair Lady works the shuttles or four corners. We're going to turn toward the back foot. The right foot is empty, so that can rotate in the heel. Sit into the left. Step to the opposite front corner. 2. Okay? So that's a big rotation that you're doing. So the transition has got to be important. So we're coming from 1, sit, hold the ball. Sit, start to unfold the ball. Step, shift, add the weight, strike. Okay? Sit into the back foot, hold the ball. Pick up the front foot, just reset it a little bit. Okay? In front of the right. Again, that's going to become the back foot, so put it where you need it to go. Turn a little bit to empty the left foot, step up to the other corner, the back diagonal on the left, unfold here. Turn, hold the ball, transition, release the front foot. We're going to go to the rear diagonal on my right. Shift, turn, and strike. So that's Fair Lady works the shuttles. The transition between 1 and 2 is similar to the transition between 3 and 4. Okay, so we'll talk about that. So after single whip, release. So what I mean by that is sit, turn. I'm basically doing a big circle here. Now this is different. Cross, strike. Now big turn again this way. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4, going to the opposite corners. It's confusing, but you're kind of spinning in circles, but you're going in order. So if I'm going from this corner to this corner to that corner to that corner, you're basically going around the corners of a box, basically, following in that direction. Okay? So we'll do that one more time. From single whip, sit, release. Hold the ball. Remember, the ball is constantly changing, right? So it's not just hold the ball and get to the next posture. You hold the ball, hugging the ball, rotating the ball, come underneath, spiral out with this. And from here, we're going to do ward off, just like the beginning of the form. Okay, we'll get more next time, but the 4 corners is not an easy thing. There's a lot of footwork, there's a lot of transition, there's a lot of turning. One of the biggest things to remember on this, because it's so challenging, is go back to setting the front knee in place and then rotating on it. So on these big steps, it's real easy to settle into that front knee as I'm coming around, but you have no strong foundation. Okay, so what you want is to be here, take the step, shift, fix the knee, and then everything else is going to pivot on that. Okay, so pay attention to that. It's more challenging in transitions like this and carry the tiger in the mountain. But start making that a habit. It's really important for your Tai Chi. And it's easy to get lost in a posture like this. So stay safe. I'll post something else in a couple days. And have a great rest of your day.